Gonna be
No, you're
ready
the
to
good guys.
get started.
You, not me.
And
You do.
no, you
You
fine.
guys are the good guys.
All right, we are just about to be online as soon as it'll redirect us here. Terrific. All right. Thank you to everyone who will join us for this. The folks here, folks on Zoom, folks who are joining us after the fact. It's good that you're with us. We appreciate it. Just as a housekeeping note for those who are watching online, as well as you who are here, the um, sorry. This is our last class. This is more of a practicum. So for those who are watching after the fact, if you're really trying to get the bulk of the information that I taught during this class, that's going to be your first 4 lessons. Those are that's what you're really going to watch. This, if you want to watch it, that's fine. If you want to pause and do the parts of the practicum, that would also probably help you in developing being able to be good at this. Absolutely. But I just want to preface this by saying, if you're watching this because you say, "Oh boy, part 5, I'm so excited for the last and greatest advice," we're not really doing a ton of new stuff tonight. So if that's disappointing, if you already watched all the first 4 and you're saying, "Oh, now great, okay," you don't have to. But if you want to do this, the practicum always helps. Again, we like to do this so that we're not getting started out of nowhere. We are going to now. Okay, we're sharing our screen. It is working. We love it. And we are ready to go. Okay, putting it all together. Um, so this is our practicum. What we've done so far. Uh, so far, and again, you have books so that we can go through it, but so far we've gone over in our first 4 lessons where most of the content was. We did the architecture of the service, which will come into play tonight, excuse me, as well. In the second session, we covered movement, the body, how you sit and stand and bow, and et cetera, and so forth. In the third session, we covered the voice, how you lead, how you speak, your pacing, how cues and cue sheets work, how you design a service. And in the fourth, last week, we covered how you write a iyun, a kavanah, how you write these shorter things, how you write a Devar Torah. If you're going to be giving Divrei Torah, then it would be advisable for you to get an idea how to do that. And that class covers all of that. So go back and watch those, do that. As I wrote here, there is no more lecturing tonight. The architecture is in your bones, the choreography is in your hands, the voice is your own. And now we are going to use what we've built. So, a practicum. Each of you here, there are only 2 people in the room. Rachel, if you're up for talking, then you'll join us for this as well. If not, you'll just be watching and it'll be us here. We'll go back and forth between you so that you can do this, and you won't have just one. You'll bounce back and forth. It'll be good. It's an opportunity to get even more practice, which is good. So what'll happen is each of you will lead one of the sections that, again, you can't see them yet, but they're coming. There are 5 of them. Our 5 sections we'll get into in a second. But each of you will do that. We'll move through a mock Erev Shabbat service. I would love to do this upstairs on the Bima. That was my original intention. However, it would be impossible, essentially, for me to record this and put it on YouTube if we did that. Not really impossible. There's equipment, but it lags, and I want this to be pristine. So while we are not on the Bima, we want to imagine as if you are leading from the Bima. If it is helpful to you, stand up when you're doing your piece. If it's not, you can stay seated. That's fine too. Okay, so you'll do it when it's your turn. The other 2 people, whoever's not participating as well as me, will watch. You should take notes. You should feel free. That's great. You should
make it easier on you.
No, it's okay. I'm fine no matter what.
Okay.
But so we'll watch when you're not the one speaking. Good opportunity to take notes. What worked, what sounded good, what landed, what might you try differently if you were doing it yourself or doing it next time. And after they finish, we'll debrief together. We'll do honesty. It will be generous to each other. And we don't want, right? We need to be honest. We want people to get better at this, and we want to be generous because it's important that we support you since you're helping lead our community. Okay, the 5 sections. It's not the the 4 questions, it's the 5 sections. So our 5 sections of the service are going to be Kabbalat Shabbat, which is welcome to L'Chadodi, Mari, which is Chatzi Kaddish to Vishamru, the Amidah and silent prayer. So, right, we start with the Amidah, we do a silent prayer, and then we do the Shalom Rav or Osei Shalom, whatever your prayer for peace, or Yehi L'Ratzon, any of those prayers at the end of the Amidah, or peace prayers, that's good. D will probably cut since there aren't that many of us here. D is first of all the sermon or Devar Torah, but I'm not going to have you come up with one of those on the spot. It's also Mishabera and announcements. And E is our concluding prayers. So Aleinu, into Kaddish, and Kiddush. After Kaddish, we do Kiddush and Motzi. So it's important. It's good for you to have. Do you have your? I see, Ezra. Do you have your or your cue sheets? An example cue sheet? I might have one over here.
Meant to bring it.
Oh no, I've got one here. So
Because the cue sheets plus.
what I want you to do before we get started is
Yeah.
think about how you would arrange the bima for yourself. When I arrange my bima, what I'm doing is I have my book in the middle. If I'm standing here, I keep in the corner of because it's like a big rectangle, the bima, the lectern that we use. I keep my cue sheet in this corner down here. I keep anything sideways, any papers like sermon. You guys don't have to worry about this because you don't have a sermon or a Devar Torah or pre-written kavanot. But if I have any of those things pre-written, I keep them sideways up at the top. I go like this because it's a inclined bima lectern rather. And then over here can be a spot for if I need to pull over the names for Mishaberach or Kaddish. If I need to pull over the announcements for the person doing announcements. So I can pull that here to be ready to the launching pad, to be ready to start. So go ahead and get yourself kind of set up like you would like. The bima can be exactly where you are. Just set yourself up because when you're leading, you're going to do it all. You're not just going to say, and now this, and now that. You're going to do it all. We want to see you lead things. Now, you don't have to sing. We're not, you're not, this isn't, after all, we give you a musical leader when you lead services. We're not expecting you to be great singers, even if I know, Sam, you're in the High Holy Day choir, but we're not, the point of tonight is not about singing. It's really about leading. So again, when we get to the prayer itself, if it's something in Hebrew and you want some practice, we can go through it. Have you doing it. But mostly we're trying to get our leading in. And that includes when it comes to like L'Chadodi, you want to be, everything about what you say. When we lead L'Chadodi, what verses do we do in L'Chadodi?
1, 2, 5.
Great. That's good. You're going to want to say that when you lead. If you're the one leading, the first one, Kabbalat Shabbat, you're going to want to say that when you introduce it. So you've got your cue sheet, it's got announced where it's, necessary as such as it is. And again, if you trip, if you need to look, don't worry about it. The biggest thing is you're going to need to look at least the first number of times. Again, you might choose to use the post-it method, which is perfectly acceptable. Just a reminder that if you use the post-it method, that's a crutch. Tonight you don't have any crutches. You're going no training wheels. Sorry, crutches is the wrong one. Training wheels is what we need. Those are training wheels, the post-its. And those are fine when you're starting out, absolutely. Tonight, we're trying it without that. So it'll actually be easier when you do it for the first time. Well, I say easier. If you're someone who's stressed out about it, it might be a little harder the first time, just because when you're in front of other people, first of all, it's not going to be that many people, but it's not a room of 150 people. But if you're in a room with people and you're speaking to them, that's going to be a little more stressful the first couple of times you do it, perhaps, unless you have a lot of experience with that kind of thing. Okay, so we've got A, B. So whoever starts A is going to do C and is going to do, yeah, maybe just A and C. So it'll be A and C and B and E.
I can do A.
Oh, hold on. Rachel, you're doing it. Okay. So we've got five and there are three of us. Okay. Sorry, I didn't hear you before. I didn't realize you were going to be doing it. If Rachel's going to do A, then I'll give B to Sam, C to Ezra.
And can you
Yeah.
if I'm not track, what is C? I see A.
No, we're not there yet. So again, these are all five of them. So when I say A, B, C, D, E, I'm referring to these five. So we'll do A for Rachel, B for Sam, C for Ezra, D for Rachel, and E for Sam, I guess.
Whatever.
Okay. So with that, we're going to start. And we'll remember you can take some notes. You'll give Rachel feedback. It's a little hard because Rachel's not here, so we can't see her. But actually, Rachel, would it be possible to do this with the camera on?
It would, but I'm laying down, so my face is about a foot from the screen, so I can see you.
Oh,
Because I still don't have the right glasses.
okay. Never mind then. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you do A, and then I'm gonna switch it though. I'm gonna have you do A, but that's the only one you're gonna do. I'm gonna have you do A, and then we're gonna go B, C, D, E. Okay, got it. So we're gonna start with Rachel, and then we're gonna go in the room with B, C, D, E. Okay, so we're starting, and this is a big one. There's a lot going on, and Rachel, you have a cue sheet, yes?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great, excellent. Okay, so we're gonna get started. Everyone's got a cue sheet. Everyone knows essentially what we're gonna do. Now, again, if you weren't gonna do Maya Fe Hayom, for instance, Rachel, it doesn't really matter. You could introduce something else on the same page if you wanted to introduce Hine Matov, which is on 128. You could do that too. It doesn't matter because we're not singing them.
Okay.
What matters is how we introduce things and what we do. So the first thing, and this is a big one, is Rachel is going to start with welcoming us. But we will be quiet now and we'll turn it over to Rachel.
Yikes. Okay. Evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to tonight's services. So if everyone would come on in and get seated, and we're gonna start off with turning to page 128, and Stephanie's going to lead us in Ma Yafe Hayom.
Okay, okay, great. And so I'll cut in when it's time for Stephanie or when it's time for music. And we did it. Okay, we did Maya Fahayo.
Okay. And now for our candle blessing, I would like to call up, let's say Haley McGee for the candle blessing and reading on page 121 and 120. Then Stephanie comes up
Well, so yes, we'll get to some notes about it. So yes, we do it. Let's say the candles are now lit. She comes up, but Haley will come up. She does the reading on page 121. And then she does the blessing on 120. Stephanie leads the congregation in the blessing, and now the blessing is over.
Okay, because we never announced that everybody just sings together. We all know that, right?
Well, again, you don't have to, again, Stephanie will start singing and we all sing with her. But yeah, there's no announcement of it. It was announced already.
Okay. And now, since some of us haven't seen each other for the week, everybody go ahead and turn around and chat with your neighbors for a bit, catch up. Everybody chat, 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 chat.
Okay. And okay, so we'll you might want to work in Shabbat Shmooze since that or something like that. Or just the word Shabbat somewhere. Um and right, and as we see here, I mean these are the big things here, right? We've got Shabbat Shmooze, and now we've got one more thing.
Okay, so all right, everybody, we're gonna bring in the welcome to Shabbat. We're going to start with page 138 with Lacha Dodi, verses 1, 2, 5, and on 9 we turn and welcome in Shabbat. And then Stephanie takes it away, right?
Yes, she does. Okay. Thank you, Rachel. Um, so who would like to start? We gotta now we'll take a few minutes to finish writing anything you're gonna write. And then we'll start with our debrief. And if you whenever you have thoughts or things you want to
Basically, section A.
this is of section A, yes. So Rachel just did for us. She went first. She was our Nachshon. She did the welcome through Lechado D, which is A, Kabbalat Shabbat.
Mhm.
So what do we think about again, we're not measuring based on singing because that's not what we're doing. So what do we think?
Well, I like what you did. I don't have I enjoyed it because I think you hit some of the key points that I have from the notes where you were welcoming, you were positive, you hit the little key points that the rabbi had pointed out. You gave the page number, you had the schmooze, you said when to rise, you announced the verses. So I would say you're going to be a hard act to follow. So
Yeah.
Okay, terrific. Sam, any thoughts?
I thought that she did a good job.
Yeah, I want to first say, good job, Rachel, on no one will be lost, because you got all the page numbers, and you remembered to tell people that we'll be standing up for verse 9 in Lachado D, which were two of the most important things to remember. Just a couple of things to work on. First of all, this isn't really something to work on, but it was very folksy, which is fine. Like you started with evening, everybody, come on in, which is very authentic to you. We want to try and give these moments a little bit more, because of the holiness of the moment, the separation between the week and Shabbat. We want to really limit our folksiness to like half. So maybe more like, good evening, everyone. It's wonderful to see everyone here once again. Like, I mean, again, these are nitpicks because again, you did a good job. Uh, just a note for everyone. It says here, candle blessing and reading, 121, 120. Please know that the reading is on 121, the blessing is on 120, and you should probably say those things separately. Again, this isn't just a note for Rachel. This is a note because I'm sure anyone would have done it this way. But please make sure. Again, part of what you're doing isn't just telling them page numbers, but guiding them through the service. And so we don't just want to say like the page, like just like it's true on Lachado D. We want to say it's on 138 and 139. that one matters less because it's one prayer we read through. Same with Shema, where it's 152 to 153. But with the candle blessings, because they're on two different pages and they're two different things, we just want to make sure we're saying it that way. Yeah, so that's it. Oh, just also one thing you said, Lachado D is how we welcome the Shabbat. I think you probably meant the Sabbath bride or something to that effect.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. No worries, but we welcome Shabbat technically with the candles on 121. 120, I guess, technically. Lachado D, you can say we welcome the Sabbath bride if you really want to get into the Kabbalistic Elkabetz mysticism. It's how you want to. It's how you want to do it. At that point. We just want to make that. I just want to make that clear. Okay, terrific. We're off and running. And again, yeah, we want to be warm, and we want to be respectful of the moment. Okay, Dr. Bradshaw, you are up.
Okay. On page 144, we have an opportunity to praise and understand the exaltation of God. This is one of the purposes for getting together. Think of how you can be more in tune with God's greatness and with your neighbor. On page 146.
Well, hold on. So that is great, but we're missing the page number and the prayer.
Well, I said 144.
Oh, okay. Did we get Chatzi Kaddish?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. My apologies, I didn't hear that. But the Iyun was great. I really love the Iyun. Okay, great. So we did that, and we did Chatzi Kaddish. So this is one of those things that you will likely lead. If you're not good at it, Stephanie can lead. Whoever leads music can do it. Certainly, if you have Brendan, he can do it. Stephanie can also do it, I'm sure. So since you have one of these, do you want to go through it? It's up to you. If you feel solid, you don't have to. But I'm just curious. It landed on you. That's the problem.
Okay.
No, you don't have to if you don't want. I'm just asking. If you want to rehearse it, this is one you can rehearse.
Well, this is a long one. If we're going to read the one on 144 with a lot of Aramaic, you'd get all as a clue every time.
It's okay, but remember, if you don't want to do it now, don't worry about it, please. But please also know anything that has RS next to it is something I lead, which means it's the service leader's job.
And that would mean if I were doing this, I'd have to be pretty clear on this prayer.
But here's another thing. If you're leading the service, you can also speak to the music. We're going to go over this at the end of tonight, but you can speak to the musician and say, look, I'm really great. I can read Mari Varavim in Hebrew, no problem. I can read, I can chant V'ahavta, but I'm a little suspect on maybe Chatzi Kaddish or maybe the Amidah. And you would say, I don't know. Could you take the lead on that? And they'll probably say yes. I'm sure they will. And then you just put their name in that spot on the cue sheet. Okay, so just because my name is there doesn't mean you're forbidden from asking them from leading.
Which means that it's important to be with the singers before the service.
Absolutely, we'll talk about that again, but it most certainly is important to communicate with them well ahead of the service. Okay, so Chatzi Kaddish moving aside, let's move on now. We did Chatzi Kaddish.
On page 146, we will do the Baruch Hu, and Stephanie will sing it. This is a chance to again praise God, and it is a prayer sung in virtually every evening service, as far as I can tell, since I sang it. Yom Kippur.
I'll stop giving feedback. I'll wait. I should wait to the end.
But this is a chance to praise again, it's a short prayer, but quite meaningful. Think of how you would like God to hear your praise and your neighbor's praise.
And so what else? One thing we're waiting for.
It said page 146.
Please rise, just remember,
Baruch,
they have to, they have to,
please
they have
rise.
to, yeah,
Yeah,
we need a please,
I'd have
please
to have
rise,
it
yeah.
posted on that one, on all the rising. Yeah, please rise. Oh, I see. Please rise.
Right. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach, Baruch Adonai hamvorach, leolam vaed.
Yes, and I know that one well because I had to sing it for Yom Kippur. On page 148, we have the oh gosh, Marib Aravam, and again
Aravim.
Aravim. It is again about blessing and at our and seeing God as the King of us, and realizing that we are the children of God, not and see how we are able to praise our Father. On page 150, we have a prayer of love, Ahavat Olam, and it extends our praise to also realize that we love God and see how you can also love your fellow children, including the people next to you.
Okay, that was Ahavat Olam, great.
Okay. We will now come to the central statement of Judaism, the Shema, that enunciates the oneness of God. Think of all the things that covers. God is one, and what he has made is from himself, and there are sparks of him in that. Think of yourself as part of that. Do I keep going?
Well, we need something critical. It's the Shema.
Yeah, 152, 153, we will now sing the Shema. I just talked about the Shema, the introduction to it.
You gotta say rise.
They have to rise.
Oh, yes. Yes, it's all.
That's what this and then this. Don't worry, it's fine. That's why I was like, yeah, we need something.
Yeah, all right,
okay.
please rise to sing the Shema.
There you go. Exactly. Just wrap it into what else you're saying about. Great. Okay, so they did the Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
On page 154, we have the Be'ahafta, which is our
We don't start.
Which comes immediately after the Shema.
Okay.
Are we in
does,
D yet?
No, we're not. We've got one more after. We've got three more things. Three more little things.
All right. An immediate transition from the Shema, and then we will follow with Mi Kamocha on page 158. Mi Kamocha is one of the early prayers that about the joy of having gotten away from slavery and being on the other side of the river, and think of how you have come out of conditions that felt like slavery, and how joyful you can be for freedom.
Terrific. And one last thing that we're reading for Hashkivenu.
Oh yes, Hashkivenu.
You might also do Hashkivenu, in which case you could just say, please turn to page 160 for Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu is 158, I think.
Oh, 150. No, Mi Kamocha is 158.
Where's Hashkivenu?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Hashkivenu is
It's 160.
No worries. I've been doing this for a while.
Hashkivenu is 160. You're quite right.
I didn't see a page, so thank you.
No, because this was a reading on this cue sheet that I gave you.
Yes.
Because I was doing a reading that I wrote, there's no page number listed. But if you were going to do the prayer, you would just put the page number on the left there, 160, and then introduce it. or introduce a reading, you could do the reading on the top of 161 on the left side
Sure.
of the page. And you could say, on page 161, we'll do a reading.
Reading.
Or you really usually want to say when there are two there, you want to say on the top of 161 or the bottom of one, so they know which of the two you're going to
The
do.
top of the 161 is a prayer for peace, as in the Hashkivenu, but it's also for understanding and love.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much. Okay. Friends, take a second to write down any last comments. And we'll tear seven. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. That was great.
I think that was really good though, Sam, and I think one of the things, and I wish I'd had, I took a break and took my son up to Michigan,
Well,
didn't get a prep course
Oh,
before.
that was marvelous last week. I lucked out because it even told me how to do
I believe
the bar.
Right, yeah.
So,
For my
I
bar
thought-
mitzvah.
I thought you were doing really well. You have a penchant, you like
Yeah.
to announce, hey, this is you had a little announcement before each prayer, and you had so many to get through that I think that B is a tough one.
It's the hardest one.
Yeah,
I'm going to say that as
yes.
well. So
It's
it's the
not-
longest one. It's
Yeah,
most of
yeah.
the service.
And it is tough, and it makes me wish, I'll tell you, that I paid more attention. It's knowing all those things. If I paid more attention to
No,
services,
and
to
I need to keep
transition.
looking over at the third column, because right at Mika Mocha, you say, please be seated.
Right. So
Yes.
I've got that for people who lead, but yes,
Yes.
that's a good thought. Thank you, Ezra, also for those comments.
I thought that was excellent because it was a lot of material.
It's a lot of it.
It's a lot of material. Yes, that was a good amount of.
For
material.
sure. Rachel, do you have comments?
Yeah, I like Ezra. I love the introductions, but the only thing that he kept missing was the standing and seating.
Sure. Good
Right.
to catch. Everyone should
And
remind themselves that
I will remind myself
Yeah.
to look at the queue on the left.
look at the cue. Again, this is where the post-it method comes in really handy because you can just write what you're gonna say and then please rise, and then
Right.
you never miss it. But if you don't do that, then yes, please just check the third column, the fourth column for the cue. Okay, I'll offer my comments. Let's see, Baruch Hu. You wrote it's about praise, which is true. You might want to say call to worship. First of all, I'll preface by saying you did a great job with the hardest piece, and you did a kavanah for basically every one,
Yeah, well, that's-
which is really good, which is something you should do. And you did really well with them. I'm going to talk about them a little bit, but doing them at all is a really good thing to do. So you want to make sure to mention call to worship for Baruch Hu. Again, we talked already about please rise and please be seated should be worked in and then done at the end of each prayer. You can think of it this way, the way it is on the sheet, like I do, where it's you say please be seated before the next prayer. If that's hard for you to remember, you can just think of it as a sandwich with please rise, prayer, please be seated, whichever works easier for you, just so you remember.
Baruch Hu is interesting because, at least the way I understand it,
Yeah.
the first part, we're giving praises to God. In the second, we're taking blessings from God.
I don't.
Because it's Baruch means that's the reflexive participle.
No, but no. I mean, because we say Baruch atah Adonai,
Right?
so blessed are you, God, right?
But blessings from you, God, because of the participle. No.
But no. It's still Baruch. Sorry, it's not. I love the thought process, but
Yeah.
but no. Well, it's actually the problem. It's call and response, right? It's you've got the leader is saying,
Okay, well, let
Right.
me clarify.
No, it's okay. It's just like the leader saying Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Right.
Blessed is God, the blessed one, right? Hamvorach, the one who is to be blessed. Right? Hamevorach. And then it says Baruch Adonai Hamvorach. The same Hamvorach from the first one.
Right.
Blessed is God who should be blessed. Leolam Ved forever.
Forever. Okay.
It's the leaders say it and then the followers say it, but they're both talking to nobody's taking nothing. Everybody's talking about God.
All right. We're blessing God, and we Because
We're saying God should be blessed. We're not blessing God exactly, because us blessing God doesn't exactly. We ask God that we say God should be blessed because of how great God is,
okay,
right? But
So
we
we're-
don't say we're blessing God because that seems
that seems a
weird. Yeah, that's something we don't really
Arrogant,
do.
yeah.
Right? Exactly. A little arrogant. It seems a little like, oh, we're gonna bless God. God needs our blessing, right? It's like rather we should think God should be blessed because we know God is right. So it's like it's that kind of thing.
So let me
Just a note on language. Your ionim, your kavanot. It's great that you did one for everyone. Blessing, praise, love, parent, children. We're in almost every single one of them, and they're just not all about that. I want to say they are all blessings, and they're all somewhat involving praise because they're blessings.
Mhm.
I like, though, that you went deeper after you said this is about praising God or this is about that. Then you went into something deeper. My note to you is just cut the first part and just say the second part, right? It's a blessing. So we know that it's about
Sure.
praising God. That's great. Then say the second part and you'll be set. That'll be so just do
I
that.
was following what you talked about.
No, I know, but like, it's like we just want to these are the
I think
things.
that's right.
There's an art to it. It's not just a rubric. Also, I did use the word think. I did say that you should tell them to think about things, but don't do it in every single. You don't have to say. I put down think not needed in each.
No,
So like right, exactly. Use a different word. Just direct them in a different way. But use think once. Don't, because people will, the second time they'll be like, did he say think twice? The third time they'll be like, this guy only knows one word. Which isn't true. So I know you can do, I'm just saying, this is literally your first time trying. Mazel tov, you did great.
Feel could be another word.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Why don't you feel this? Or have you thought about, or I use think again, but using thought. There's a bunch of, I could give you a list if I sat for a couple minutes and wrote out a list of
And
different verb starters.
And I'm making it up now.
Think, act in the world.
God knows if I do one of these, I'll have it written.
Hey, at this rate, I'm gonna have you lead your own bar mitzvah. No, obviously not, but it's fine. Oh, and the last note again, this is just about you. Hashkivenu, you did great. It was long. We were going deep into the notes. I understand. You said something about it being about peace, understanding, and love. I guess, but once again, I'm going to say too general. Like we want to pick one thing and talk about that. That's just a note. It's again, you did great, but just something when you're writing a kavanah, we want to pick one thing about the prayer and talk about that. That's just a quick. That's an easy rubric. Okay, thank you, Dr. Bradshaw, for taking the lion's share of the
that one
of the work this evening.
Thank you, Sam.
You're right. Exactly. Okay, so now it's Ezra's turn. And we will pick up as if Sam had just sat down after leading his leading for Hashkivenu. And now you're picking up at 162.
Oh, and it says Stephanie, the Vishamru. Okay, so on. Okay.
You're on the beat.
All right. I apologize.
No, you're okay. Don't worry about it.
We will now be on. Please turn to page 162, where we will sing Vishamru. Stephanie, would you?
Okay, great. We've got Vishamru. We sang it. Vishamru. We sang the song, and now it's time for the Amidah. Okay, so the song is over.
And I will say,
transition us into the big moment.
All right, I will face the ark, and I will say, please rise for the Amidah.
Probably want to say that first.
Okay, please rise for the Amidah. That's right. Since we're not in the.
Well, right, yeah, but you also don't want to turn around before you speak because there's no mic on the other side.
That's true.
Good. To which I found at Yom Kippur.
Right, if you turn away, you'll turn around and say, "Please turn," but they're not going to hear anything you say.
So I had to sing louder.
Exactly, right.
So please rise for the Amidah, which you can find on page 164, and then we'll go to 166, 168, 170, and then you can continue with your own silent prayer that you would find on those pages as you wish, and you can be seated when you're through with your own silent prayer. But right now we'll rise for the Amidah and we'll go to page 164. Then I'll take 3 steps forward, go and I guess I said-
Okay, now this one again. If you're uncomfortable, if you know the Amidah, great. If you're skittish about it, you can still lead services. I just get the music leader to be the dominant voice.
I know this one.
Great.
You know, Reformed Temple did all the time.
Great, yeah, we all did this.
We all
That's
did
true.
this, although now they've added these words, which they've added when I was a kid and I went to a Reformed Temple, B'nai Yehuda, when it was in Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and I thought they added. It's very nice. I think it's much more egalitarian now because when I did it, even though it was a Reformed Temple,
They didn't have the emo. Right.
Yes,
There were
they
no
did not
matriarchs.
do- Yeah, there
That's a
were no
good point.
matriarchs.
In fact,
They
they
did not
didn't
do-
have it when I started going to
Well, there you
synagogue. It was in the late 90s that they
started this.
that my synagogue put a sticker over over gates of prayer
Yeah.
to include the matriarchs. The traditional version that the Orthodox people chant doesn't have. It's just the avot. It's not the
Right.
avot v'imahot. It's just the avot, and we just continue after we don't do the other names. We just keep going. The
Right.
rest of the prayer is basically the same. It's just we add the names of the women. And in fact, in Israel, the Reform movement has changed it. It's even a little more different because they do it in order of the couplings. So they do Avraham v'Sarah, and they do Yitzhak v'Rivka, and they do Yaakov with Rachel and Leah. And so they actually divvy it by generation instead of here are the men, and then we added the women in.
Sure.
But we still do it this way. Anyway, yes, that's a good note. The Reform movement didn't used to do that. We do it now.
Do that. So should I be? So we'll do.
Wait, you want to do just the vote? We can't unfortunately do that.
No,
We have to
no,
leave the
no,
whole
no.
thing.
We'll do the.
We got to do the ladies, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm all for that. I'm not.
No, I'm sure.
Yes, I want.
I'm just expressing the note of the
Yes,
synagogue.
it's
We-
very nice.
We have to do it.
Okay.
So-
There are certain choices in the Amidah, by the way, you've heard me do it. If you want to do for one of in Givurot, if you want to do on 168, I think, is that Givurot? Yeah, right, yeah. If you want to do Michaye Meitim instead of Michaye Hakol, I'm good with that. That's a theological choice that every Jew gets to, that I'm cool if you make it.
Yeah.
Even if you're leading, I want you to make your choice. I would like you for the Chatimah, for the end of Givurot, to say, Baruch atah Adonai, whatever it is, Mechaye HaKol. I'd like you to do HaKol at the end, because at that point you're saying it more to bring them from that to the next thing. And if you're saying Meitim when they're saying Hakol, they're going to be lost as you move on to the next thing on the next page. So we don't want that. But you do it like 3 times in that prayer. So if in the other times you want to say Meitim, fine. I'm not against you making theological choices, but just like you don't have the power to set up a mechitza, you don't have the power to remove not that Ezra was asking for it.
No.
I'm just saying. I'm just making a separate point that
Yeah.
it's just not one of the things you're empowered to change.
And I went to a Reform one that did do some of that.
Yeah.
But that was, a
Well, that's their synagogue. They can
that
choose.
was B'nai Yehuda on
Right.
69th and Holmes, and they did that.
Sounds good.
So
And it was again in the 80s when I started going to synagogue, they also didn't do it. So it wasn't until the 90s that they started.
But bad transition
Yes.
for me. So okay, so then I say and now when you announce the Amidah or when I
So we're doing the Amidah. We did, yeah. So you did just move past silent prayer because you already introduced silent prayer.
okay. And that's how you do it, right? Don't you?
No,
say
but
that?
we'll go over it. Don't worry
Okay.
about it. You did it
Okay.
fine. It's not a problem, but we'll go over it.
Okay.
Okay, so
And
let's
now-
move on. Yeah.
Now so now everybody.
So by the way, you don't have to do anything else because you're seated
Right,
now.
that's what I
And
meant.
Stephanie will get up when they're seated. Again, it says on the right side, Stephanie begins after. So your cue is you actually don't have to say anything here.
I love that.
Right.
Thank you.
You're seated and you can stay seated for the whole prayer. You can get up partway through if you want, although that's kind of a theatrical thing I do and I don't think everybody likes it. Or you can stand up when she starts singing. It's up to you when you personally stand up. Okay, turn the page and let's see where we are and keep us going. Oh wait, no, we're done with you. I'm sorry, not
Right.
done with you, but okay. Everyone, take your final notes and we'll comment on C. That's the end of C. Does anyone have any thoughts they want to share with Ezra?
I think he did the multiple pages of the Amida really well.
Hmm. I appreciate that. Sam, do you have anything? I know it wasn't a huge section. Okay. Great start with Vishamru. Really appreciate that. The Amida. Okay, this is the big. So I like that you put all the page numbers there. You can also say we're going to start on page 164 and then just let it ride. The reason I say that is so you have two choices when introducing the silent prayer. You can do it like Ezra did it, which is fine. It's not that one way is right. You can do it the way Ezra did it, which is you can introduce the silent prayer with the pages when you start the prayer. Some people might forget that though. What I end up doing is interrupt. So we go through the first three blessings. I say we'll start on 164. Please rise. We rise. Everyone does the first three blessings. And then when we finish Atah Kadosh V'Shemcha Kadosh U'Kdoshim B'Kol Yom Yahalelucha Selah Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. And when we finish that, I turn back around and face everyone and I say, we will now continue with silent prayer. Please continue with the words on the page through page 180. This is where I give them the end page, by the way, for Oseh Shalom, by saying through 180, or with the meditations of your own heart. And please be seated when you have finished your prayer or your Amidah, however you want to say it. So I do it there in the middle after I do the first three blessings of the Amidah. And then again, the middle of the Amidah, the end of the part you do out loud, but the middle of the Amidah, and then I turn back around and finish my prayer. But I break it there because I worry. I worry personally. Again, there's nothing wrong. I'm not critiquing what Ezra did as being bad. It's great. It's fine. There's no problem with it.
Well, I'd rather copy you. So can
That's fine.
Can
Yeah.
I know? So
Yeah.
when you are on 164,
Yeah.
the tefillah, and
Yeah.
then you're doing.
So because we're just turning pages, I don't call pages for those.
Right.
I let us just. So for the Amidah, I'm banking on everybody kind of understanding. You got to turn the page when we finish the Hebrew.
So when do you make that transition to say your meditations of your own heart? What was the final?
So you do it through. I think it's 168. Is that Kadosh? You could look it up. I think it's 168.
Yeah. I think it is too.
Oh no, it might. Is it 168 or 170? Atah Kadosh V'Shemcha Kadosh U'Kdoshim B'Kol Yom.
It's 170.
170? Okay, so you go through 170, and then when you finish that, where you Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh, when you finish those, all three of the prayers we do out loud with the Amidah, then you turn back around and you introduce silent prayer, because at that point it's time for silent prayer. So I do it when it's time for silent prayer. I say, you can continue your Amidah, because people might want to be praying the words of the page. They might want to do the liturgy, which is what I do when I pray the Amidah.
Right.
So I say you can pray the liturgy, you can pray the words of the prayer, you can pray the words on the page. Any of those words, combinations of words are fine to use to introduce it. Through 180, I say through 180 so that they know that we're going to end on 180 either way, so that even if they're not going to do the words on the page, they'll know the page number. Then I say, or you may continue with the meditation of your own heart. That's fine. And please be seated when you have finished with your prayer or with your Amidah. That way I've given them everything they need. They know it's time for silent prayer. They know they have two options, either page or heart. They know we end on page 180, and they know when to sit.
I like that.
Yeah, that's good.
You can give them all four of those notes after you do.
I need a good post-it for that one.
I know, I do too.
So,
I do too. I was
honestly,
taking notes.
Guess what? The left side of that page, I just put 3 post-it notes down it and write down all 3 of them. If you don't have a huge post-it, I never did. I had regular sized post-it notes. And so my book doesn't even have this anymore, but literally you would see there's a post-it note here.
Mhm.
And then below it is another post-it note, and the words just keep going. I just cover this whole, with post-it notes and write. You can do that. It's fine. Just, I mean, it won't be the whole page. It'll go down, but you can fit. Believe me, you can fit plenty on there. Now, to be fair, if your eyesight isn't great, you gotta like. but in any event,
Life in the cold city for us.
right? Yeah, but in any event, my point stands. I think that's how you can do it. And then when they're seated, Osei Shalom is what happens. Okay. D, we're bouncing back to Sam. Or actually, you did a really long one, Rachel. We're going to bounce back to you, and then we'll bounce back to Ezra. Because B was like the length of all 4 of these put together. So, Rachel, do you want to do D? You don't have to. I said you were done after A. So,
The shortest.
Dum. Okay. Hang on. I wasn't prepared.
that's okay. If you also look on the screen, you'll see the brief. You don't have to deliver the Var Torah. That's if you were actually leading that thing, right?
Okay.
But
So- Hang on, I'm thinking.
That's okay. This is a tough one to start with.
I'm trying to think how to introduce it.
You might say
Okay.
something like, there are many people in our community who are suffering from XYZ.
Okay.
This is an opportunity for us to pray for their healing. The words of the Jewish prayer for healing, Mishaberach Lecholim, can be found on page 371.
Okay.
You have great
And-
words.
The names can be found in our, what do we call it? Do we call it
You can call it a service insert. You can call it an order of service. You can call it a handout. You can call it whatever you like, really. We don't have one name for it, is the answer to your
the
question.
rabbi always reads the names, even though we.
Yes.
hang on.
Yes. No, but she's going to do that. She's going to do it. I know she's going to do it.
I am. The names can be found in our service insert.
I thought it was me.
One sec. We're having a phone issue here. We're going to have to. One sec. Okay, we got it. Yeah, there you go.
We're
Okay,
good?
you're back now. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Let me start over. Okay. So the name, you already did the introduction, so I'm going to let that stand.
Great.
The names can be found in our service insert. And before I read those, I'd like to know if there are any other names that people would like to put forth. So as I scan the congregation, as my eyes meet yours, please feel free to name any names you would like us to remember. And then I scan and wait for people to name. And
Great.
then
Good job.
they name.
They
And
do.
then I read the names out of the service handout.
Great.
And then I'll say, please join me on page 371 as I chant the traditional Mishaberach. And then I chant that. And I think I can chant that.
Okay.
And
If you can, you can. If you can't, please feel free to skip it. It's fine.
okay. And then Stephanie starts off with, do I announce Stephanie's part or does she just start?
So here's something I like to do with Misha Berach. I like to start with, first of all, let's see, okay. So this is basically, all that's left, because there isn't a Devar Torah, is announcements, which you just say this person is coming up. So let's go ahead and talk. Let's debrief, because Misha Berach is a big one and it's hard. And Rachel did a good job. So let's talk about Misha Berach, which is of itself a service in a way. Misha Berach. First of all, one note is you mentioned the word remember. We want to save the word remember for Kaddish. We want to use words like healing of the sick, recovery, things like that for people's, we pray for people's recovery. Um, so what do people notice about the Misha Berach? Excuse me. Just one or two things. It was good. One thing is, we want to introduce it with just a line or two about, this is a prayer that deals with healing of the sick, something like that. Our prayer for that is Misha Berach Lecholim. You don't have to say the Hebrew if it's hard for you, but it's our prayer for healing. That's what that means, Misha Berach Lecholim. We don't want to only refer to it as Misha Berach, because there's lots of Misha Berachs in our prayers, including Misha Berach LaAliot, which is on the page right before this. If you look on the page 370, at the top of the page, has another Misha Berach.
Yeah.
So it's not the only one. So we want to be specific. So Rachel asked them to share their names. She did great. She said, your eyes meet my eyes meet yours, that kind of thing. I'll scan the congregation. Great. Rachel's had them share names before she read the names out of the booklet. I usually do it the other way. There isn't really a rhyme or rule. There's no requirement that you do it my way. So that's fine. Just as a note, I generally read the names. I will say something like, in our own community, after I start opening saying we're praying for healing with Misha Berach Lecholim, I'll say, in our own community, we're thinking of.
And you were saying.
And then read the list of names. And then I'll say, if you have people you're thinking of in need of healing, I invite you to share their names with the community when my eyes meet yours.
And so you were saying, just so I get the pronunciation correctly, because I'm from Misha Berach Lecholim. Lecholim.
Correct. Yeah.
And then I wanted it. And if you have people you are thinking of.
Right. And again, if you can do the chanting, great. I would just say, if you're going to do the chanting, if you're not going to do the chanting, it's much easier. After they share names, you say, and now please join us on page 371 for the singing of Misha Berach. Okay? If you've already said Misha Berach Lecholim, you don't have to say it twice. They know which one you mean now. But you can say Misha Berach Lecholim if you want, and you should excuse me. You should mention if you're just singing 371, if you're chanting and singing, because Rachel mentioned she might want to chant when she leads in addition to singing. If you're chanting as well, when you introduce the page number, you have to say, please join me on 371 or please say, on page 371, we'll begin at the top of the page with the traditional chant done by me. You say done by me to kind of give the impression, I don't want people to join me when I do it. Why? Because most people don't know it and they're going to do it badly, quite frankly. Better that I do it myself. So I don't invite them to join. Now, if they do, I don't criticize them. I don't stop. God forbid. I would never do that. But I'm trying to give the impression with my words that they're not supposed to join me for that. So I say, at the top, I will chant the traditional words of Misha Berach Lecholim, and in the middle of the page, we will all sing together. And that way they understand, first of all, that there's a difference between what we're doing at the top and the singing in the middle, because you can't just say they're both on 371. They'll be like, which set do we sing? There's a bunch of different words in different languages on that page. So you want to lay out both of those if you're going to chant. You want to lay out where you're going to be chanting and where they're going to be singing so that they know. So thank you, Rachel, very much. Appreciate that. Misha Berach. Okay, the Devar Torah. We'll, again, go back to the last class to see that. A board member comes up and does announcements. And then Ezra, bring us home with the concluding prayers.
Okay. So now we will now turn to page 586 for the Aleinu. I will face the ark. open the ark, and then say, please rise for the Aleinu on page
Have
5.
them rise before you open the ark. They should be they should be on their way to stand. If there's still some people like getting up, you don't have to check and like wait to open the ark until everyone is standing. But you should have already given the command to stand when you turn to open the ark, because that way at least they're getting up, and that's fine. So yeah, you want to say please rise and then open the ark. Yeah.
You want to say in that one too, please rise if you are able.
Yeah, sometimes I'll say if you are able. I say that a lot nowadays because we get people. For a while, we had some people who were coming regularly who couldn't stand ever, and I knew that, and I didn't want to say it and seem callous. If I think everyone in the room can stand, I usually don't add it. If I think there's someone who might have trouble, I usually do.
See a lot of wheelchairs, you don't.
Right. If I see any wheelchairs, I definitely add it. If I see really people over, I don't know, anyone over 80 besides Sam.
Your golf buddy is right.
Yeah, if he's there, I say it. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, so page 586
yeah.
for the Aleinu, and then page 591. Well, people should know. Then we go to Bene'emar.
Right. So if you're just gonna do, here's a good point. Thank you for bringing this up. If you're just gonna do the Ne'emar, you don't have to call out the page. Although sometimes I will, when we turn to it, if I think we have guests, I will turn and kind of I'll be like page 591. Like you don't have to sing it, but like you can be like after you finish the first part of Elenu, you can say we continue with Ne'emar. We continue on page 591. You can just toss that in really quickly. Again, with the ark open, there is a microphone in the ark. So with the ark open, you can say that facing the ark and you're fine. But with the ark doors closed, it won't pick you up. That's why I say when you do Baruch Hu or something, there's no mic, but there is when you do Elenu, if you're standing close enough to the ark.
And we don't do the usually we don't do the Shahu no Teshamai.
No, I only do it if we're running short. I do it 2 times. If it's Saturday morning,
right,
I do it, and if we're running short on time. And if we need to fill more time, I do it.
We would do that. I don't think I'll have that problem.
No. Hey, look, again, if you want to do it, you're welcome to. We do it sometimes. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. If you want to do it, you're welcome to.
Okay, and so we do the Ne'emar.
Mm-hmm.
And now please be seated. Now comes the time and for the Kaddish, which is the many temple members here. This is the anniversary of many people who have
make it much simpler.
Okay.
1 second.
Yes.
Make it way simpler for yourself.
Thank you.
What is the Kaddish about?
It doesn't mention death, but it's a prayer to that we say at the end of services and to remember the those who passed away, yard sides it's a prayer to remember our dearly beloved who have passed away.
That's great. By the way, you could just say that first part. You could that part. You could just say. Next, we'll be moving to the Kaddish. This is a prayer that we say when people have passed away. You could say that. You could say this is how we remember our loved ones who have died. You could say that. Again, you can do. Sam did earlier. He did Kavanot that were like 4 sentences long, which is great. But they really only have to be a line. They can be longer. If you can do more, wonderful. It's praiseworthy. But but keep it simple. I would rather, and you'll also write it down, but if you keep it simple, you will never, you'll mess up so much less if you keep it simple, because you'll never lose yourself in what you're thinking.
And then I should have said too before that, and then I would say,
then you would say, right.
Make eye contact and say, if you have people that you're thinking about, if there's anybody you are thinking about who, if this is if there's somebody who has a yard site and after I've read the names, but it's not on the list, that person's name is not on the list. Please, when your eyes meet mine, let me know their name and we can add their name.
All right, please share their name.
Please share
Don't say
their-
we'll add their name because then people
No,
will think
add,
you're
don't
literally
say
going to
that.
write a name
Yes,
down.
okay.
Like we're not
Share.
writing on Shabbos,
I got
so
a
we're
word
right.
for
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
No, you're
share
okay.
their
It's fine. Yeah, yeah.
Share their name.
I have a question.
It's a hard one. It's not a problem. Yeah.
Share their.
So far, we've been either in Hebrew or English. Yahrzeit is a German word. How did it creep in?
Yiddish.
Okay.
Yiddish is Hebrew and German
Well,
mashed together. Some of the words are just German. Some of the words are just Hebrew. Some of them are mashups altogether. But
Yeah.
some of them are just, yeah, some of the words are just German. I mean, it's also a lot of Germans today don't realize that, you know, certain words that we use a lot, they don't even realize we use it. Like they just don't know. But kvetch,
Okay,
not
well,
kvetch. What's the word? Klatch. That's a good one. Anyway. Anyway. So
Your site is pure German.
yeah. But like, yeah. But like,
Well,
yeah. But it's again, it comes from Ashkenaz. It comes from Germany.
Sure.
Like it comes from the Jews who lived there for for a long time.
And then I should have said, if it is your custom, or if you're in a time of mourning, please rise.
yeah, that's
That's
what you said. and I
what you
think
said.
that's
So that's a good one. I like when
That's-
people
that's
say
what
that,
you
but
say.
right.
I'm gonna put a star by that star.
Okay.
But
yeah, I like that one.
yeah, that's.
Okay, and then we do Kaddish, and then
Stephanie will now lead us with Adon Olam on page 625.
our closing song.
Our closing.
Yeah, for the closing song, just make sure you say the words closing song somewhere. Again, we're just trying to orient them in the service. On page
625.
Excellent. And then she'll lead that. And then what's left?
Kiddush Motzi.
So call up Plony and Plonit.
Me and Plonit. Okay, so now we will it has Stephanie doing this, but
So Stephanie doesn't call people up. She
Okay.
never does. She's leading this music for it. She
Okay.
sings.
So we'll now turn to page 123 and we'll call up Danelle Parson to do Kiddush with
Sure.
with Jared or Jared.
Kiddush and Motzi, sure.
Yeah, Kiddush and Motzi.
And
If there are
okay.
any kids can get
Right, and kids can come up. That's great.
Yeah,
You can say kids can come up.
Kids can come up. At
That's
around
great.
13.
And they do Kiddush, and then they do Motzi. Let's say that's great. And then send them off. Benediction. Give us something to go off on.
Well, a benediction.
Again, it's just like usually I just say something, one line at the end of the service. If you can't think of anything,
Thank you all. Shabbat shalom to everybody.
that's fine. You can
Shabbat,
say that
that's
too.
folksy.
You can say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
You can say right, really short. You can say like, have a restful Shabbat.
Have a rest.
I hope your Shabbat is. Say something about. You could say something about the Torah portion or the sermon or the Dvar Torah if you gave one. You could say if you wrote Iyunim or Kavanot, you could bring a thought back from that to kind of just any little thing like that. People will be like, ooh, there was a through line, there was a connection. Like that,
Okay.
it's a good it's a good move to
Have
try
a
and do
restful
that.
Shabbat.
But that's good too. Yeah, you can say that too.
Have a restful Shabbat.
Okay, terrific. Any thoughts on Ezra's? That's again, it's tough. Kaddish is tough, especially when you don't do it a lot. We want to make sure. One thing I want to say about Kaddish is there are how many. We don't say all of them, but there are how many periods of mourning that we say that we announce separately in our service.
How many periods of mourning?
Yes, categories. We don't just say we're remembering people. We have Shiva, the 7 days
Right.
after someone
Oh,
passes.
Yes.
Shloshim, the 30 days,
That's right.
and Yartzeit. The one we don't have, the fourth one that we don't have, technically there are 5 if you count Onenut, which is before the burial, which isn't relevant to you. And the other one we're not including is the Shana for a parent, where you say Kaddish for a year if it's your parent who passed. But we don't do that because it's very rare, and again, it's specific to one or just a couple people. It's never going to be necessary to say that to a whole congregation. So we leave those out. But we always have Shiva, Shloshim. Now you might not have names for everyone in your service. Shiva, we rarely have a name, thank God. I hope you won't have one. Shloshim, sometimes. Usually not more than one or two. And then yard site is the long one. But we want to make sure that we're identifying these as, first of all, periods of mourning, because most people don't seem to realize that these are separate periods of mourning with separate rules. And we want to recognize the mourners that are in different periods as such. That's why we do it. Now, we don't do that for when we ask for names. We just say, here are we put out all our names, and then we say, if you have names we haven't said, and you want us to pray for those people as well, then you say, eyes meet yours, whatever you want to say, and if you like the hand. And they offer those names. Again, a lot of times you'll get one, maybe two names, maybe zero. It's happened to me before. That's fine. You don't address it. I like to nod at people when they offer a name, just so that they know that somebody has heard them and is thinking about what they're thinking about. But that's a rhetorical. That's a theatrical thing. That's not a prayer leader thing. And
So your short intro sentence is, if anyone is in a period of mourning, sitting Shiva, Shloshim, yard side.
I don't say sitting because they wouldn't be here.
That's correct.
They were sitting
They're
Shiva.
at home.
Right.
True.
No, I'm just saying that's why I don't say it that way.
Unless they want.
But someone might be thinking of Shiva, again, the real purpose of that, of Shiva, you're not going to get. The truth is, you're not going to get the mourners of the Shiva person in the room.
Right.
But we're going to say their name anyway, so that's not really relevant. The people that will offer names are usually going to be offering yard sites. They're not going to be offering the other things. So we don't even say anything. Then we say, if it is your custom or you're in a period of mourning, whichever one you're in, because it doesn't matter at this point, we invite you to please rise at this time. So now they'll all rise, even though we said it was their choice. And that's fine. And then you'll do Kaddish, and that's great. But just these are the hardest parts, Misha Berach and Kaddish, because there's a lot of, you got to fit different commands and phrases, and it's more than just the next prayer is Misha Berach, which is about redemption. Please join us on page 158, which you can do. You can also do it nicer, like Sam did it. But however you want to do it, it's easier than Misha Berach and Kaddish, which require you to not just read, because if you're just reading, you won't be able to convey empathy, which we really want to try when we're doing Misha Berach and Kaddish, to convey empathy.
Of course.
Because we don't want to stand there and be like, we are now going to do Misha Berach. It is the prayer for the healing. If you have people who are sick, you can do that, I guess, but that won't go it won't go well. The room won't feel good about it. They won't feel good about it. You won't feel good about it. It's something. These are the two things you might want to practice in the run up to, as well as having post-its. You might want to practice them so that you feel like you can flow a little bit in it, because you're not going to want to be looking down during this part. I don't look down when I do any of this. I never look down during Misha Berach, except when I'm reading the actual names, which, yes, please look down. Don't get the name. The names are really hard sometimes. Don't get them wrong. So yes, look down when you read the names. But when you're saying, I'm with you when you're suffering from and you're in need of healing or you're in mourning, look at them. Look at somebody. Look at the back of the room, so they all think you're looking at them. But don't look down at your page, because people are going to be like, boo, why is he doing this? Right? So why are they doing this? So anyway, okay, this was our longest one, shocker, but we got through it. That's wonderful. Just some housekeeping before your first real service, which again, we have not yet. Freyna and I will work soon on scheduling when it is that you will actually be assigned to do these. But the first thing that would be good, especially for your first one, is you're going to want to meet with me. Go, or at least send me the cue sheet well ahead of time and say, Rabbi, please take a look at this. I'm thinking about doing X, Y, and Z. This is Y is a change and C is a change from what we usually do. But I want to, whatever you're doing, send it to me. The second thing, once I've approved your cue sheet, meet with the musician. You want to see who's doing what. You want to make sure you know about the transitions and who's doing what is a big thing, and which tunes you're doing. You'll meet with the musician. The third part, after you do that, prepare your writing, your kavanot, your yunim. If you're doing the Devar Torah, this is the time to do it. If you want to send the draft of those writing pieces to me, I'm more than happy to look over them. Very happy to look over them. But if you follow my instructions, you'll probably be fine. But again, share drafts with me. Try and do it early because again, my schedule fills up and I miss emails and stuff. It happens. So just try and get it out as soon as you can. Always, always, always show up when you're leading services at least half an hour early. You really should be meeting the musician there at least half an hour early, maybe earlier if you're going to rehearse. Walk around. The mic won't be tested until Doug or whoever's doing the sound comes to turn it on, but still stand there, practice your unim, practice your devar, get comfortable in the space. Sit on the bima for a little bit, make it feel like your house. I'm serious because otherwise you'll think it's somebody else's space and you're gonna feel uncomfortable up there the whole time. And I try and tell bar and bat mitzvah students, you got to make it your space. If you don't feel comfortable up there beforehand, you're not going to feel comfortable when you're leading the service, and that's a bad time to feel uncomfortable. So make it your own space. Do that. Test the mic, find your light. Again, the lights will need to be turned on. Someone will organize that, I'm sure.
If you want to practice being on the bima, come and sing in the choir.
That too, right.
Bass.
That's true. And the last thing, of course, like I told you earlier, set up your lectern, your book, your cue sheet, your materials, your writings. Get them all set up. Be mise en place, right? Just like with the cooks. Make sure everything is in its place. It's important. Okay. Something to carry forward, right? Just something to understand about leading services. First, preparation is a form of respect. You're doing kavod to the community by preparing thoroughly, and we appreciate that. 2, authenticity matters more than perfection. Right? I wrote lose your place. Lose your place. Pause and find it. Mispronounce a word. Correct yourself and move on. Do correct yourself, especially in Hebrew. The Hebrew's got to be right. But correct yourself and move on. The congregation expects sincerity, not perfection. Be you, be real, be there with them. If you lose your place or something, they'll forgive you. 3, the service belongs to the community. You are the guide, not a star, right? You don't make choices. You're setting them up. You're not just sharing what you think either. You're directing them through a service. You're the guide. You're the bosun. No, the coxswain. What's the guy who calls out all the instructions on the
I think it's the
coxswain? Yeah.
Coxswain.
Right. Yeah, that guy. You're that guy. You're trying to get them to go where you're trying to lead, direct them. That's what you do. The best leaders are barely noticed because the experience was seamless. And 4, keep learning. Every service you attend is a chance to learn. Notice what works. I do stuff that works. I do stuff that doesn't work. Notice. You don't have to come up to me after. Please don't come up and say, Rabbi, that really bombed. But but like. Well, fair enough. But in any event, notice what works and what doesn't. Keep it in your head. Think about when I do what you do. And that's a helpful way to keep learning. A final teaching for you, just a reminder that Keva, the rote prayer, gives you the skeleton, the liturgy, kavanah, the intention gives you the soul. And we need both in order for prayers to be good. I send you forth with a blessing of my own. May you stand at our bima with confidence. Speak the words slowly enough for them to land. Honor the silence as much as the song. Teach what is yours and only yours to teach. And never forget that the congregation is rooting for you, which they are. And as we say when we finish a book of Torah, so we finish this class, I offer chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek. Be strong, and may we strengthen one another. May we be strengthened together. At this time, if you have any thoughts, comments, questions, I am happy to answer them before we conclude.
Could I ask a stupid question?
Yes.
Is this on form somewhere?
No, but I can send me an email and I'll send it to you. If you want a draft cue sheet, I'll send you a draft. I have one that's actually just without any of these choices, just like a draft cue
All right,
sheet.
then,
I can send
then who puts it in decent shape?
You do.
We do.
Or you can take this one. I can send you a bunch of them if you want. But the point is, eventually we want to get you to the point sooner rather than later, not like tomorrow, but we want to get to the point where you can manipulate a cue change. Say,
Sure.
instead of this song, I want that song.
Right.
Instead of, I know this isn't on that page, let me change this to this other.
This overall
you know.
format is not in the computer. I can't pop it up and fill it in.
No. I mean, no, I can send you a draft and you'll just change stuff, but it'll come with the columns and everything.
All right. Okay.
And the basic prayer structure in it.
Oh, so
Yeah, so
Okay.
just email me and say, I want the draft cue sheet and I'll send it to you.
and then we can change what we need.
Yes, and you can change whatever you like.
That's easy enough.
You know what they do say, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, right?
do, yeah.
So I'm gonna imitate because I think you've got a great model, so I'm.
First of all, everybody imitates.
Have to imitate.
I appreciate that, but also everybody imitates when they start. I imitated when I started, but that was a while ago now.
I'm gonna imitate, I'm just telling you.
That's fine,
Very
but the
well.
point is, in a year or 2 years or something, you might
Maybe.
not need to imitate anymore. You'll have developed
Well said.
some of your own style. By the way, this is how it works. Some of your style will always be based on mine because I'm your teacher. But you will eventually morph what I have taught you into your own thing. And at that point, it will be it'll be yours. So that's how teaching and now Judaism works.
I have a question.
Yeah, Rachel. Yeah.
How do we, you said you and Frena will be working together to schedule stuff. How is that gonna work?
First, Fran and I are going to look in the July Religious Services Committee meeting, which is coming up in 2 weeks. Just after I get back from Israel, we are going to discuss which services in the first part of the coming year need lay leaders to lead them, and then we're going to work on including an established leader and one of you. So the
Okay.
first time you lead, you'll lead with someone.
Okay.
After that, you'll be on the regular list of people who get an email from Frena when she needs people, and she'll say, hey, I have, in the next 3 months, I have these 2 or 3 services that need to be led, or maybe only one, depending on the quarter. Who wants them is essentially what she sends out. And then it's up to you. If you get the email and you want to do one, you say, yeah, I want to. If you don't, but that's after this first one.
Okay. So
Is that an answer to your,
yeah, that's plenty of time for me to get glasses eventually.
Yes.
So the Devar Torah, when we get to that point,
Yes.
will we be able to come in and get help if we need help on that at that point?
Yes. First of all, I'm very happy to help with that. Also, your first service, to be honest, they're probably not going to assign you a Devar Torah.
No, I know that now. I mean,
Yeah.
at least until we feel confident and we've
Yeah.
had some practice.
Yeah,
But
but
when
yes,
that
you can
comes up-
absolutely check it over with me. You can come in and work on it with me. You can do both of those things.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. I'm here to help with every stage of this process, including Kavanot and Divrei Torah.
Okay.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions? I'm going to take us off YouTube. I want to thank everyone watching online for sticking through all 5 classes. If this is the 5th one you're watching, I hope you've learned a lot and that you will feel ready